What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today we are going up against the Confuzzler. I call him the Confuzzler. I don't know why I do that, but anyway, yeah, we've had a couple of matches against him. This may be the second or third. I don't know. I recorded a whole bunch of them in a row, but anyway, I'm going to spread them out, and today we're doing an NU match. And, yeah, you're probably looking at the screen right now and you're like, what in the world is that thing in your battle box? That is a Shelmet, and we are bringing that today. So this one, you know, right off the bat, is going to be a lot of fun, because, when do you see Shelmet? When do you see Shelmet? I don't know. Anyway, as we're getting started today, before I go over the team, what we're running, and all that jazz, just a friendly little reminder in case you guys haven't done so already, and you would like to show your support to the channel and the series and all that fun stuff, you can do so by clicking that like button right below this video, or you can share your thoughts in the comment section below. Any suggestions that you have are always appreciated down there. And you guys always come out and show your support, so I'm very appreciative that I have awesome subscribers that are willing to do that. Day in and day out, you guys always come through for me, so yeah, you guys are awesome. Keep it up. Now, let's take a look at the team. We've got Brian, the Shelmet. It's going to be defensive. It is basically a toxic stalling set, unfortunately, but that's the only way I've been able to really get Shelmet to work. So it's got toxic and infestation, as well as spikes and recover. It's physically defensive because it has a base 85 physical defense stat, so we're going to see how it works. And I'm just pulling up Pangoro's stats here to make sure that it is scrappy, because somebody bred that for me. It was a gift a while back, and I don't know that I've used it yet. So, yeah, that's important because he does have the Golett here, which is really cool. He could actually use Golurk if he wanted to, because that's NU. Anyway, alright, so we have the Pangoro. That's going to be lefties. We have the physically defensive Shelmet. We have Raticate, which is going to be a gut set. Rhydon is going to be our Stealth Rock setter. Choice Scarf, Magmortar, and then specially defensive Meganium. And I'm noticing that my opponent's Meganium actually doesn't have an item, so that is a bit interesting. As for the rest of his team, Torkoal is going to be his spinner and his Stealth Rocker. He's got a couple of solid defensive Pokemon with Torkoal and Weezing and Meganium all in there. Even if that Meganium doesn't have an item, I'm guessing he just either forgot or he doesn't have the right item yet. I don't really know. I'm not one to judge because I give my Pokemon the wrong items all the time. In fact, I've had to re-record things just because I forgot to give all my Pokemon items and it was just a disaster. But anyway, here we go. We got Torkoal out against Rhydon. And he could use this opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks, but if I just fire off a Rock Blast or EQ, that would do a lot of damage to this thing. Trying to think, what on his team would want to switch in on an EQ? Maybe Meganium? Maybe, but I'm going to go for it either way. Oh, the Weezing, that's right, Levitate. I just talked about Weezing, so we wasted the first turn. I should have went for the Stealth Rocks because I had the type advantage. We can play a little bit more recklessly as far as getting burned with this Rhydon, just because we have Aromatherapy in our back pocket with our Meganium. So I'm going to take this opportunity to set up the Stealth Rocks, and at the very least, we can get a nice solid 25% off on that Torkoal when it comes back in, even though it probably does have the Rapid Spin, especially if it has the Rocky Helmet over lefties. It won't have any way to recover that HP, and every little bit counts against these defensive Pokemon. So, yeah, Rhydon burned here. Unfortunately, my specially defensive Meganium would not really want to switch in on a Weezing. I don't know that I want to get hit with a Sludge Bomb here. He opts to go for the Gyro Ball. Now, that's interesting to carry on a Weezing, but I can see how it makes sense because Weezing is pretty slow. So, not really something I would typically carry, but to each their own. So we're going to Dragon Tail out into the Torkoal, and that actually it works out for us because we get that 25%, like I said. He is going to show off the lefties here. Now the question is, are you going to a Rapid Spin right away? Unfortunately, again, going into Meganium here would not be the best choice. Now, like I said, being burned with this Rhydon isn't the end of the world. Our damage output is obviously going to be hampered a bit. But we don't have any recovery because we're Eviolite, and we don't have the lefties. I'll go for the Rock Blast. We'll see how much that does. And it's definitely doing more than the lefties is recovering. So this will get him down to just about half, even though he only got 3 hits. He's going to take this opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks of his own. And Looking at my team, it really isn't that big of a deal other than against Shelmet and Magmortar, but it's not going to be coming in that much. Really, the goal of this team is to have those rocks set up, get Shelmet in here to set up spikes, and then just wear down the team enough so that Magmortar can come in and finish everything off. It's a fantastic cleaner, and looking at his team, his specially defensive Pokemon is a Meganium. That does not match up well against Magmortar at all, even if it is specially defensive. So we get 3 layers of spikes up and a Stealth Rock. I don't think anything is surviving a Fire Blast from it, so we will be in fantastic position. The only other thing we might have to deal with is that Zangoose, which can have quick attack, and that could be a little bit of a problem, especially if it has Protect to ensure that it gets up its Toxic Orb and gets the Toxic Boost thingamajig going on. At this point, we've lost so much HP, we might as well just leave Rhydon out here to go down, and he, I guess, doesn't carry the Rapid Spin because he didn't go for it. He did not go for it, as the Golett is going to switch out here. We're going to Dragon Tail that out. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't missed a Dragon Tail yet, but hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. That would be terrible. Out comes the Dragonair. That's going to take a little bit due to the rocks. We're going to get hurt by the burn. That'll put us down into the red zone. I'm assuming that this is going to be a Dragon Dancing set. Either way, I'm going to Dragon Tail. He's probably just going to take us out with an Outrage, though. That would be my guess, and that is perfectly fine. Rhydon did more than I had expected. He had a kind of a difficult time taking it out, and as he gets a critical hit there, Rhydon is going to go down, but we got the Stealth Rocks up, we got some passive damage going. That Torkoal is weakened to the point where I think Magmortar can take it out. After it comes back in again, pretty sure Fire Blast will take it out because its special defense is kind of poop, honestly. Now, our physically defensive Pokemon here is Brian the Shelmet. We can use this Dragonair, which is locked into Outrage, as setup bait, essentially, because we shouldn't take that much from an Outrage that's unboosted. And even if he does get up one Dragon Dance boost, that really doesn't scare me, because I've experimented a little bit with this Shelmet, and it can take hits more than you would expect. So we can come in here, and as much as I would love to go for an Infestation and all that jazz, he probably has the rest. So that kind of ruins our ability to deal off some chip damage with Toxic, which I wouldn't expect to be able to just Toxic Soul it completely. Not that I would go that route, but essentially what I want this Shelmet to do is to come in, be able to recover off any damage, absorb those physical hits, and lay down spikes if it gets the opportunity, and then either deal some chip damage with Infestation and Toxic, which, because it has such terrible offensive stats, that's really the only way you're going to be doing anything here. But yeah, do that. And then also, it can trap and eliminate certain threats that it can, is not taking too much damage from, thanks to Infestation, forcing your opponent to be unable to switch, all that stuff. So, I'm just babbling here. Dragonair's going to rest. Unfortunately, he breaks through the confusion on the first turn to get that off. We were able to get a recover off after taking the Outrage plus the Stealth Rocks damage, and so we're back up at full health here. We can get off a layer of spikes. And we may even have it to where, if we can get 3 layers of spikes up, that Torkoal might actually just go down upon re-entry, which would be great. So even if he does have the Rapid Spin, there's just no opportunity for that whatsoever. So there we go. This is a rest-talking Dragonair, so I'm guessing, yeah, there's the Outrage. He's not going to get locked into it because it's Sleep Talk. But he's got Rest, Sleep Talk, Outrage. We haven't seen the final move, but I'm going to say that it is Dragon Dance. That would not surprise me at all. And there we go, some chip damage to at least force him to rest again while I'm attempting to set up all of these things. Now, I could recover again, but I'm going to take this opportunity to set up another layer of spikes, and we should be fine. I can take a couple more Outrages, unless he gets up a bunch of Dragon Dances, which that hasn't happened yet. And we still do have a Phaser in our Meganium that's also armed with Dragon Tail. So we can get rid of this Dragonair if we really need to, I think. I hope. Meganium isn't the best at taking physical hits, but it has enough bulk to usually be able to survive at least one hit. So there we go. Dragonair is actually going to hit itself in confusion this time. And we're going to get up another layer of spikes. So we have one more to go, and then we'll have all of our hazards. And at that point, we can probably let Shelmet go down. I'm trying to think. Actually, no, because he still has the Zangoos. We might want Shelmet here to come in on another physical attack, because Shelmet should be able to stall out the Zangoos unless it has the knockoff to get rid of our Eviolite. And it usually has the Toxic Orb, and then we can hit it with an Infestation and whittle it down. And at the very least, either get it very low or, you know, something like that. You know what I'm trying to say. So Dragonair is confused. It's going to hit itself in confusion a second time. A little bit surprised that he has not decided to switch out here, even though he was confused. But that is fine. So he's Toxic. He's going to get hurt by the Infestation. That's going to bring him into the red zone. And that means he's going to need to rest this turn. And he's confused, so he may just kill himself here. Never mind, he's going to snap out of confusion, and he's going to rest off the Toxic and all of that damage that we did, which was basically just from him hitting himself in confusion and the Infestation, because we only had one turn of Toxic and only does 6%, I think? Something like that. Anyway, we're going to get up that last layer of spikes, the all-important final layer of spikes there. More Infestation damage. How long has he been trapped in Infestation? We've only used it once. Now I will recover, as I'm sure he'll get an Outrage. I would assume. I mean, if he gets rest, that'd be great. No, he's going to get a Dragon Dance, so we are able to confirm that that is going to be his final move, but I kind of had that feeling anyway. Mono attacking Dragonair is just freaking good. It really, really is just that good. It probably has a careful nature, and, you know, especially defensive. It can take hits. It's got the Eviolite. It's got a lot of things going for it, but we need to wear this thing down now. We need to get rid of it or deal some damage to it or something. So I'm going to go out into Meganium, and we're going to Dragon Tail this thing out. He's asleep. We just need him to not pull an Outrage on this turn, basically. Because at +1, we're not going to take it that well. I know that much. And so here comes the Sleep Talk. So we need rest or another Dragon Dance. And he gets the Outrage. Of course, he gets the correct pull on the turn that he needs it. And that's going to bring us all the way down to 37 HP, which is ridiculous. Even with lefties, that's not going to go well, because I think that he wakes up the next turn. Because he went for Sleep Talk and got a Dragon Dance, and then right after that got an Outrage. If I am remembering the turn of events correctly. Which, of course, I mess that up quite often, so I could be wrong about that. But looking at the rest of my team here, I don't really want to sacrifice anything else. And I don't know that Magmortar necessarily would outspeed. Well, it's only at +1, right? Yeah, so I guess Magmortar would outspeed, but I don't have anything to KO him with at that range, especially when he still has the Eviolite on. So I guess we just have to sacrifice Meganium here, which is really sad. But at the same time, looking at the rest of his team, I don't think I'm really going to need Meganium for anything. He's going to wake up, lock himself into Outrage, and Meganium is going to go down without doing anything in this battle. So that is really unfortunate, and that just came down to the fact that he pulled an Outrage. Because I think if he pulled a Dragon Dance, he probably would have killed anyway, actually, the next turn. So I needed him to pull a Rest. That was the only way Meganium was going to survive. So I guess the odds were not in my favor anyway. So there you go. I do not think that Raticate is going to come out here and just kill this thing. And we're not going to outspeed anyway because we're not Scarfed. But what we can do is go out into Pangoro here, who has a butt ton of HP. We should be able to take one Outrage. Not well. But we can take it and then go for a Circle Throw to phase this thing out. And then we should be able to have this thing actually die to hazards coming back in, depending. So we take that just about as well as Meganium took it. Dragonair becomes confused, but it's not going to matter as we hit the Circle Throw. And yeah, pretty sure Dragonair just goes down coming back in. Out comes the Zangoose, who is going to take a little bit of damage due to the Stealth Rocks and some more damage due to the Spikes. And we're going to see a Toxic Orb activate, I would think. I would think. There it is. So we need to watch out here. I don't know what this thing would carry as a coverage move. We know Facade is a thing. Quick Attack is probably a thing. It might have Protect, and it might have Knockoff too. That seems like a somewhat of a normal set for it to carry, especially because Knockoff is great coverage alongside of normal, because it does hit those Steel and Rock and Ghost types for at least neutral damage. I think he's going to overpredict here, though. I think he's going to go for a knockoff. I'll go for a Storm Throw, predicting a knockoff, which is a little bit risky, but the way my opponent has been playing, that's what I think he's going to do right here. That may seem off the wall, I know, and maybe it is, and maybe I'm going to look really stupid right here in about 2 seconds. Nope, never mind, he does go for the knockoff, so our lefties are gone, but that means that this Zangoose is out of here. Now, of course, there's always the chance that that was just a misclick as well, because misclicks do happen. We get a critical hit because it's Storm Throw, and it gets a critical hit 100% of the time. So there we go. Pangoro putting in some work, taking an Outrage from a +1 Dragonair, phasing it out, and then taking out a Zangoose right afterwards, and that was probably his biggest offensive threat on the entire team, because Dragonair needs some time to set up, and it's not going to be at an HP range now where that's really going to be possible. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it does not get off a free rest, which it might actually... does it outspeed Pangoro? Pangoro is so slow. It's terribly, terribly slow. But he's going to go out into Meganium here, and I might actually outspeed this, even though I'm not running any speed investment. I don't know, Meganium is slow too. Huh. Decisions. I will go for a Circle Throw. That's just what I'm going to do. So we're going to have negative priority anyway, so the outspeeding thing is not really going to matter. And we think that Meganium is faster, though. Pangoro is just so slow. I really need to study up on its base stats, because I don't know what its exact speed tier is. I want to say 60-something. But anyway, he's going to pull a double here, baiting me to go for the fighting type move, maybe, so he could get a safe switch and a goal. I mean, he had a safe switch anyway, and this Golett is going to go down here to a Circle Throw, I would think. Because of Scrappy, we can hit the Ghost type, and yeah, he doesn't even have a chance to do anything, as he just goes down to the Circle Throw. Regardless, even if he didn't go down there, he would have died due to the spikes coming back in. So Golett is out of the way, and now Meganium has to take even more damage coming back in. Another, what, 25, 30%? Something like that. I think, what, Stealth Rock does 12% to Pokemon that don't resist it, and then 3 layers of spikes does around 25%. So, like, more like 37%. Sheesh, that's a lot of chip damage. I have a lot of phasing moves on this team, too. I just realized that. I've got 2 Dragon Tailers and a Circle Thrower. That was not planned. I just kind of threw this team together really fast, and I was just very excited to use Pangoro and Shelmet on the same team. I didn't even really think about it, but it works well together. That seems to be what happens here, is that I don't know. The teams that I spend a really long time constructing don't do as well as the teams that I throw together in like less than 5 minutes. He opts to go for the Gyro Ball as we get a Circle Throw off. So this Weezing is going to be forced out, and Pangoro is going to live to see another day here. He should have gone for whatever his stab move is, or just any attack that isn't Gyro Ball. Either way, the Meganium is going to come out, take all of that damage, and it makes no sense for him to switch out now, and we'll just go for a Storm Throw. And we'll see what happens, if he wants to take us out with a Giga Drain or what. No, we outspeed. Maybe he was going for Dragon Tail? I could have sworn that Meganium would outspeed. We get a critical hit because that is a Storm Throw, obviously. Meganium goes down, and this match is getting close to being over already. I did not expect Pangoro to wreak as much havoc as it has, but it just is, I don't know. I feel like my opponent made some over predictions there, and that has allowed Pangoro to just steamroll the rest of his team here. But he can go back into Weezing, yeah, because I can't touch it. I can Crunch, and that'll do some damage, but he does outspeed. He should just kill me off with anything. Doesn't really matter. And he opts to go for the Will-O-Wisp. I could have gone for another Circle Throw. I really thought that he was just going to kill me there. But I guess that was a bad thing to do. Maybe Crunch will do about 12%. Yeah, that looks like about the Stealth Rock damage anyway. The only downside is that he does get free Black Sludge recovery. Pangoro is going to finally go down. If only we had kept our lefties around, we would have been able to get a few more hits off maybe. But this Weezing is down to 50% of its remaining HP, and I'm pretty confident that now Mag Mortar can come in and clean up the rest of this team, which is really what the goal of the entire match was. We just need to hit a couple of Fire Blasts. So we have to hope that the luck is on our side. I really should be running Flamethrower, especially because I'm modest, so I get that extra special attack boost anyway. I need to be running something with better accuracy because my luck is so terrible that it's really not worth it to run moves that have bad accuracy. And 85 is bad in my book because I just miss way too often in clutch situations. Anyway, we didn't miss there. The Weezing goes down to the Fire Blast. Dragonair comes back in. And I believe that goes down to the hazards. It does. I believe his last Pokemon is the Torkoal. And I'm pretty sure that goes down to hazard too. So we may not even have to hit another Fire Blast here. It'll be close. Yeah, that's not even going to be close because Stealth Rock does 25% and Spikes does 25%. So that's 50% right there. Torkoal didn't have that much. And down it goes. So Mag Mortar didn't really have to do a whole lot there. But that is going to be a victory for us. That is a 3-0. So thank you very much for the match, Confuzzler. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do. And I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.